Let's jump again into the unknown, back from our lunch break. And now we have the pleasure to invite here Kristi Vinter-Nemvalts, Vice Chancellor from the Ministry of Education and Research. And she's going to tell us about this long-term strategy, self-managing individual by 2035. Yes, you can ask questions from her. There will be a new poll, the same address. You can enter your questions there. Thank you for this introduction, and good afternoon. It is a pleasure to be in front of this audience, so many people, and discuss in a way a future topic or introduce the things that we have been working on intensively in our ministry. And since the topic was formulated through the perspective of a future individual who is self-managing, and this is what we are striving for in our educational strategy. Therefore, I would like to also discuss the meaning of self-managing individual, because maybe the understanding is different. But before giving an overview of the strategy, I picked some documents from the vision group work led by Marju Lauristin, professor. And in that work group, they formulated very simply in a very concise way the shift in the focus of education. They say that the focus is moving towards developing the capacities of self-management, so that a person is able to make choices and take responsibility for them. When we talk about career or the importance of the career in a person's life, then of course this is a very important choice. But when we take a look at the educational strategy, but not only, also the areas of youth work, then Estonia is developing a long-term strategy, Estonia 2035, where the Ministry of Education and Research is dealing with, let's say, a wider area, not only education, but I would like to emphasize education-related work. And when we take a look at the time frame and the development of different strategies, we are almost halfway through, or even more than halfway. But the background is such that when we take a look at our ministry's strategies, our remits, then the strategies are about to end, which is or has been clear that for several years we have been making preparations to set out the aims for the future, and we have drawn up a very serious document. Different experts have been working on a vision document or a set of vision documents, and there have been several work groups with representatives from different interest groups, different government bodies, and the number of participants of these work groups has varied between 50 to 80. So the strategy has been inclusive, and the strategy document should be put together soon. The work is not over. It will continue in January and February. We will have meetings with different stakeholders, and most probably some of you will also be at the same table with us. In February 2020, the strategies will be sent to partners for approval, and in April, we plan to present them to the government and afterwards discussion in the parliament. And thereafter, we hope that by 2021, we can launch our new strategies. When we take a look at the general objective of educational strategy and strategic goals as well, then here in the middle you will see this long-term wish. We want Estonian people to have knowledge and skills and attitudes that enable them to find fulfillment in personal life, in work, in the society, and to support Estonian life and sustainable development. So this is closely linked with career studies or career guidance in one way or another, and at one level or another. In general education and also in further training, we need to make sure that educational opportunities match the needs. The choices are varied, they are accessible, and the educational system has this flexibility that allows a smooth movement from one level or from one area to the next. In order to utilize to the full the potential of the individual, it has to take a forward look, and when we think about this backdrop about the big strategic goals in career development or the importance of career as such in our lives, then we indeed talk about that the career, taking into account how important it is in our lives, its development means that we are creating a fulfilled, pleasant life. And the circle of topics is wide and very, very interesting and is reflected in different educational strategy. If for a moment, a few words about self-managing individuals. So there are different definitions how to define. Yes, definitions vary, but maybe predominantly we can understand it as the person's ability to manage in different situations, to be able to admit one's mistakes and faults and shortcomings, to manage with external influences, and to really manage in a very deep sense with oneself. So career development means that we need to know ourselves very well. We need to deal with all these aspects that I have put up here. Some of my favorite definitions are here on the slide. And in that respect, this self-management, managing person in this unpredictable future world, which is swiftly developing and requires a lot of flexibility. So this individual has to be able to manage himself. When we talk about career guidance from this perspective, then also career planning or the skills necessary for it are directly connected. Also readiness to be able to learn throughout life. So we are not choosing a career, one career for our lives. We're talking about different careers, 3 or 4 careers, which also means we need to be flexible. We need to be prepared to learn, retrain, make U-turns in our careers. And this is something that a self-management managing person is able to achieve. So how does education strategy support the development of a self-managing individual? Again, very directly, some ideas from our current strategy, and undoubtedly one important aspect is the empowerment of the learner, a learner-centered approach, which means that we learn from our mistakes, we have lessons learned in order to develop into this self-managing individual. The focus is on the development of the learner. This is already existent now because our current strategy takes into account the individuality of the learner, but we'd like to enhance here that that our legislation and also our current practices and the way we discuss it, then the next step should be that we implement it even more. The development of general skills and capacities, key capacities and such. So we can call the same thing with different names. And again, this is directly linked with career guidance. I actually missed one item here. So also assessment of the learner so that it supports his development. Also career and entrepreneurship training in schools, and how to create an integrated system in order to discover and develop the capacities or the abilities of the person. How exactly this can be done is another thing, because we are providing a strategic vision. We need to seek for solutions now. The digitalization of the educational path, and we have so many digital footprints in different environments, but the ability to collect them, to assemble them, and to gather all these pieces of information and put them to work in our favor. So this is again one of the important aims of the strategies, and also formal and non-formal education, of their importance in informal education, so that these two would not be dealt as separate worlds. Basic principles when we talk about career studies, career guidance, then a managing person, or the development of such a person is in the focus, which means contacts with the labor world, different specialities, awareness of the labor market, preparation for labor market. But what I would like to point out here in this context, which I believe has the broadest importance, is the development of general capacities. Also, career studies has to support the implementation of curriculum and the implementation of educational political priorities. We talk about flexibility a lot, and lifelong learning needs to have more content, and people should be more ready to participate. Then lifelong learning and career planning, and their integration in curricula, in different subjects, and in extracurricular activities. Priorities in general education. Again, undoubtedly work with curricula, updating them, career competencies through general competencies, and also subject-based education and their integration, so that on the one hand, career guidance gains more momentum in general education, but also contributes to more areas of education. This is, again, another aim that we need to discuss. The aim is to ensure high quality and systematic preparation for labor markets, the development of elective subjects, and ensuring quality through further training for teachers and updated and modern training materials. Then vocational training, perhaps even the most important area or with career guidance. And from this vocational education perspective, we can say that there are three big areas that also contribute to career planning. First of all, the content of education, choice of vacation, cooperation with Estonian unemployment insurance fund. And this concerns also our educational strategy, but as I said, in addition to education, we have several other strategies under development. Also in youth sector, what are the focuses there? Again, in the middle, you can read the wider perspective that each Estonian youth has a choice. He has a right to get support, to seek fulfillment, and through this, the youth is empowered and can take responsibility for the society, for the well-being and sustainable development. Well, this is the big goal, and different strategic sub-goals are that we need to ensure high-quality, accessible youth work, offer broader opportunities for fulfillment, self-realization, and also involving young people in decision-making, because when we talk about self-managing people, then decision-making, responsibility, accountability, this is something that one needs to be able to practice. And youth work is an area that offers such opportunities. How does the youth sector development plan underpin the development of a self-managing person? We are talking about participation in different areas, and it is very important to develop different skills, develop attitudes, obtain knowledge and different opportunities. And I would like to also point out here that that the young person has to participate in the creation of and development of opportunities, because if you do not utilize them, if you don't practice them, then the development of a self-managing individual will just be a dream. And also the opportunity to discover one's abilities and talents. So these two areas of our ministry and the development plan, they create opportunities and a framework for further development with these topics. I probably forgot to mention that when at the moment we're talking about a strategy document, which is a visual document or provides visions, but the next step is to develop programs where we are setting out all the activities for the achievement of objectives. And there again, the participation of stakeholders and partners is very welcome, and certainly you will be invited to participate in developing those program documents. I think I could go on and on about these, but our time is limited, and I'm also here to answer any questions. Let's take a look. Are there any questions already?
There are 3 questions to be. How do you ensure the quality at the moment of the elective subjects and career? If we are talking about career learning and education or general competences, then the ministry is engaged in monitoring the quality through external assessments. So in order to receive feedback and asking questions, and also the information provided by research programs from different organizations. So I could say that there's quite often is this kind of feedback received. Second question, how does ministry support the teachers and schools in introducing effective services for career counseling, and practically what do you do? How can we do it? In order to train the teachers and provide counsel advice to the schools, those are the main practical ways. Be it through in-service courses or in counseling how to set goals, and counseling the schools. I do not know whether I can be more specific or something. There are 2 trends here, and it's more administrative solutions. And third one, people's capacity differs a lot. What is the meaning of self-management, whether everyone can follow the trend or not? Or definitely, I could say that it's the role of the school to support it, but it's not always so. That definitely the kind of guiding the formation of an individual character from early age. So it is a multifaceted approach. The home, the parents, and should take part here. So we can and have to acknowledge that the abilities of people and students and children vary a lot, and we cannot admit that all of them are capable of self-management or something like that. But a lot of general competencies form the basis for providing potential. We are talking about the multi-intelligence and so on, and this is different fragmented features there. And if a person has some part of some fragments, strong ones, and then the other ones should be kind of compensated or something, I think that our attitude towards these topics, in general and summary, the support should be provided by school and home, and the capacity to self-management is nothing that should be actually the end result of their normal education or the compulsory education. And definitely this is, be a child or an adult, you have to take care of that you will follow the path. Thank you.